She's got that look. She's got that style. She's got that conversation that makes you want to stay for a while. She's the all-American woman. So, today I wanted to talk to you guys about culture in America. What I also consider cultural diversity. Okay, so culture has been around since the beginning of time, and because of that, it has nothing to do with race. It can have something to do with race, but it is a lot of things depend on your culture, not just your race, where you live, like your geographical location, your age, your gender, how you see yourself, your friends, your family, what you want to be in life. These are all things that make up your culture. And, you know, a culture can be a group thing, and it can also be an individual thing. It's just the way you live your life. Now, of course, culture, like I said, it's been around always. It hasn't always gone by that name. Of course, before it was just the way you live. Now culture is the way of life. Of course, in certain decades, especially the 60s and prior to that time, culture was usually looked at based on your gender and your race. If you were a black American, you lived a certain way. If you were a white American, you lived a certain way. If you were an Asian American, as opposed to a Native American, you lived a certain way. And it was not necessarily because that's the way you wanted to live, but that was what was expected of you as a part of that race. Now, things have changed, and I know a lot of people, sometimes, especially comedians, don't necessarily like to look at that change, but it does. Just because you are of a certain race doesn't mean you have to live like the same people of that race. Just because you are a certain gender doesn't mean you have to live like people of that gender. And then we have people of, that look at their sexual orientation. They may live a certain lifestyle, and that's just their culture. But the thing is that, and what we have to remember about culture is, you live your own culture. In America, that's why I always like to consider it the salad bowl as opposed to the melting pot it was once considered. Because think about it, with a melting pot, everything that goes into that pot melts and looks like everything else. And it's just pretty much a liquid form of goo or whatever, or whatever melts. The color, they all have the same color, they all have the same texture, they all are the same form of liquid matter. But with a salad bowl, and when you put the things in the salad, yes, when you put the things in the salad, they become a part of that salad, and they're all considered a salad, the pieces. But that tomato is still a tomato. That crouton is still a crouton. That piece of lettuce is still a piece of lettuce. And then when we get down to lettuce, yeah, there may be a piece of iceberg lettuce in there, but there may also be radicchio lettuce and things like that. So it's just that's what I mean when I say America is a salad bowl. Because just because you consider yourself an American, which is your nationality, does not mean that you have to all be of the same culture, which again has nothing to do, or has something to do with everything, not just one thing. Because you are an American, you have to live a certain way. Yes, you have laws and things like that, but culture defines how you choose to live your life, what you want to be a part of your life, who you want to be a part of your life. And culture is a beautiful thing, because that's how we become individuals, and it's also how we conform to a certain group that we want to belong to. And again, it shouldn't have anything to do with our race, our gender, our nationality. It can have something to do with that, but it's totally up to us. Nobody can tell me how I'm supposed to act because I came from the South. They could have their own personal stereotypes, and that's on them. How I choose to be as a Southern woman is my business. And it's part of my culture that I'm very proud of. And that is my culture. Being black, being Southern, being a woman. This is all part of who I am, and living the way I choose to live and the culture I choose to be a part of is because of the way I grew up and the way I live now and the experiences I've had in my life. And this should be that way with everyone. No one should feel like they have to conform to a certain way of life simply because of who they look like or what race they are or what gender they are. That's the beautiful thing about culture. It's your choice. It hasn't always been that way, but it's that way now. And then again, some places and some people are still narrow-minded and they like to look at things the way, and in a generalized form and say, black people do this, or women do this, or gay people do this. But that is a generalization. And simply because it's stated doesn't make it true. That is someone's opinion. Your culture is yours to choose. No one can choose it for you. So go out, find the culture that fits you. And the beautiful thing also about culture is if one part doesn't fit you, go out and be in another part of culture. Choose your surroundings. Choose your friends. Choose who you want to be in life. How you want to live. Because that's ultimately what culture is about. How you choose to live your life. Who you choose to be with. What you choose to do with your life. This is all culture. Now, once did I mention race, nationality, our gender, our sexual orientation. So, cultural diversity, it's a beautiful thing. Live it, enjoy it, revel in it. Alright, that's all I have for today. Hope to see you next time. And in the meantime, celebrate your culture and accept others.